Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm gonna be giving you part 35 of What If Naruto Was Betrayed by Hagoromo. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Jashin sealed inside of him on this channel, and enjoy that guys. And over on Anime King 2, I post a new episode of What If Naruto Was Neglected and Lost Everything, so go ahead and enjoy that. And over on Anime King, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was a direct descendant of the sage. Yes, you're hearing that correctly if you're new. I have 3 channels, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as the Akatsuki, all of them were gathered, along with the reanimations that were summoned by Kabuto, as they were gonna finally take down Naruto Otsutsuki. While that was going on, the meeting was starting up, as Tsunade had brought Sasuke and Mito. After all, they were very important to the plan, as she wasn't going to take any back talk from any of the other Kages, especially not the Raikage and Kage. Considering that Gaara is her friend, she didn't really like the other two. They were the one that started this after going after Naruto to kill him, but still, Naruto won't take over the world. The daimyos were also there by video call, as they spoke. They want to know exactly what Naruto is and where he came from, as the Raikage brought to the point about Naruto saying that the Sage of Six Paths is his brother. Tsunade's side, she had to tell them everything. But it wouldn't matter if Naruto decided to turn against the entire world. He's already wiped Kira off the board, and that turned the power scaling, well, too much to one side. So they had to take him out. As the daimyo would definitely try to find a replacement for her, or even brought Konoha without using a Hokage to make sure that the Otsutsuki Empire is wiped out. And if she stayed out of this, then in the end all of them would turn against her, even though she knew Mito and Sasuke had the power to reflect the other villages. But still, that would just cause a world war. At Konoha, as Kakashi was doing something for Sasuke, Danzo Shamira, that man who ordered Itachi to wipe out his entire clan, as Kakashi was shocked when he heard that it was an order. Itachi was by himself. After Sasuke had spoken to him and just left him, he didn't fight him. At the moment, Kakashi was trying to find evidence of root or something that Danzo did, so they could get the order from the Hokage. After all, she desperately hated Danzo, so they could wipe the man out. Meanwhile, as Naruto came outside, as he told his troops to go back and told them to tell Karen to activate the barrier around the village, that day a large red barrier came around. As Naruto then dived into the fray, the reanimation stood no chance at all, because he literally pulled the soul out of their body. But he did not set it free, he destroyed it in his palm. As the battle was relentless and fast, he moved like a blur, his speed and strength unmatched. It was then that he called out Jashin. Jashin was a demon. It was a piece of the 10 tails that had survived the onslaught of the battle with the Sage of Six Paths, and Naruto knew him. After all, he was the one that slaughtered the most of the towns. It was Naruto back in his time. As Naruto ended up killing Jashin, as the man had took himself to a higher praise, wanting people to worship him as a god, and Naruto wouldn't approve of that, so he ripped Jashin to pieces, tearing his existence away from the world. He don't try to fight, but the pain was unbearable, as he felt lightheaded and weak. As Naruto decided to tell him that he wasn't immortal anymore, Naruto obliterated Kakazu. He obliterated Kisame, as he wiped out the effective forces. The paths of pain then came dropping down on him. He put them in their place like they were nothing. His master over the Ren Sharingan, totally outclassing what Nagato could ever possess. as Nagato tried to raise up the Otsutsuki Empire by trapping Naruto into a miniature moon. Naruto quelled that by using his own gravitational pull. As he sent so much chakra inside the body, the thing exploded. Konan quickly got the hell out of there to find real Nagato and run, as they went up against something that they weren't ready for. But Nagato, the man had coughed up blood when Naruto sent so much chakra to his system. As it override his own chakra, he was then stabbed through the back by someone, but it was too late. Whatever stabbed him twisted in his heart, killing the man. A surprise attack. With his confusion, there was no way he could do anything. As Naruto stood there about to go after Konan, but he stopped. As another coffin rose from the ground, he sighed. But unlike the other ones, the lid of this coffin was blown clean off as someone emerged. As Naruto felt a different spark of power inside coming out, it brought a small smile to his face. Something interesting. So yeah guys, that's basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So this will begin this new episode. Jiraiya was just passing through the land of Deer to make his way, as he got some new information on the leader of the Akatsuki. Despite Naruto being the overall threat, the Akatsuki was still there, and Mito, his student, had the nine-tailed fox seal inside of her, so that was a big problem there. When he heard explosions, the place quaked. He decided to investigate what was going on when he realized where the explosions were coming from, near the Otsutsuki Empire. Jiraiya made his way. Before he could arrive though, he felt something as he stopped. He followed his instincts as he heard crying. The crying got louder and louder the more closer he reached. It was a tree, a hollowed out tree that seemed to be breaking apart in paper. A membrane slammed into Jiraiya of a little girl, blue hair, amber eyes, giving him an origami flower as thanks. Jiraiya in his long life has never seen the replication of that paper ability, but it couldn't be. All of them died. All of them died in the war. Slowly making his way, he came to a stop when he saw the person there crouched down. It was a woman. She was holding on to a body, her blue hair shadowing her face. She heard footsteps as she stopped, looking up with her teary eyes. Jiraiya saw the sickly pale body of his longtime student, Nagato. As Nagato, his eyes were gone. The woman that was holding on to him was none other than Konan. Konan? Said Jiraiya, as he couldn't believe what he was seeing. Sensei, she said. Tears still pooling down her cheek as she held on to her dead friend. Meanwhile, as Naruto looked at the newcomer, "You're different from the others," he said. "And who are you?" said Madara, his eyes looking over Naruto. "Interesting. Those eyes of yours. I can see they're far above the Rinnegan. Who exactly are you? Are you one of my followers?" he asks. "Here to help me achieve my goal." "Followers? You must be mistaking me for someone else," said Naruto. "I don't follow people. People follow me." "That's so," said Madara, as he stepped around. "So what exactly is going on?" Madara then heard a voice popped into his head. "And who are you?" he said. "Well, I'm the one that casts its reanimation. Welcome back to the world of the living, Uchiha Madara. I am working with your apprentice with the swirly mask. We came up with this plan of bringing down this, well, foe that you see. His name is Naruto Otsutsuki." "Otsutsuki, you say?" "If I'm not mistaken, that was the last name of a sage of Sixth Path." "Why do you bear that name?" "You people, always going on about this and that about my brother. He really created a mark on this earth. Sage of Sixth Path." "Worthless," said Naruto. "Your brother?" said Madara. "Yes, he was my brother." "Well, I'm sure I'm not mistaken, but the Sage of Sixth Path died a long time ago. So how are you alive if you were his brother?" "I was sealed away. But enough talking. You're nothing more than another reanimation, and a waste of my time." Madara blinked as a feet came towards his head. He brought his arm up, bang! A shockwave ensued from the two. A clashing force met right in the center. The ground below them exploded. As Naruto gestured back, he twisted as he brought his hand around. Madara noticed the ear. The literal ear, space and time was bending, with a single hand coming towards him. He jumped back because that hand would have torn right through him. Flipping through hand sign, he took in a deep breath. Fire style. Majestic destroyer flame, he said. A massive flame ensued from his mouth that swallowed up Naruto. Madara's eyes kept track as his Sharingan activated that turned into the Mangekyou as Naruto burst through the flames. BAM! Their feet both connected as Madara raised his feet to block Naruto's attack. Naruto sent a jab forward as Madara grabbed his hand and twisted Naruto over his shoulder. He brought Naruto down in a suplex as he dropped him. Boom! The ground shattered as his back made contact with it. Naruto flipped up as he held onto Madara's head with his feet, twisting him around as he dropped Madara into the ground. He then brought his knee down into the man's chest. The man rolled to the way though. As he got back to his feet, he flipped back as Naruto came forward with his hands, reaching towards his face. Madara slapped away Naruto's hand as he crouched down, making Naruto pass over his head. He flipped through hand sign at the same time as he spewed tiny fireballs from his mouth. Naruto slapped them away with ease with nothing but his hand. 5 black staff emerged around him as he tossed them towards Madara, who stood there, unmoving. It was then that a massive construct erupted around him, blocking them. As Madara looked at his hands, "You are even beyond your glory days, Uchiha Madara." "Show him hell," the voice said in his head. As Madara looked towards his foe, "Beyond my glory days? Do you know what I am when I was in my glory days?" he asked. He looked towards Naruto. "You are a worthy opponent. Let's see how you handle this," he said. His Susanoo flared up. As he went through hand sign, the 4 arms of Susanoo also going through hand sign. The sky then broke. As Naruto looked up, a massive meteor started to drop from the sky. Madara didn't expect him to laugh. He knew he was strong, but the laughter, that was what surprised him a bit. "I must say, you're different from the others." As Naruto sank into the ground, before shooting upwards. Madara watched as he clenched his fist, a silver glow growing around it, before he shot it forward. The silver glow left his fist and transformed into the massive head of a dragon that slammed right into the meteor, piercing right inside. Madara watched as the thing exploded, rocks raining down from the heavens, smashing down on the barrier. As Naruto stood there in the air like a god, Madara smiled as he was impressed. He hasn't had a good battle since Hashirama. Waking up like this and having this fight was amazing. As Naruto landed, Madara shot forward in a burst of speed. As Naruto moved, bam! Their fists connected, tearing, trenched through the earth. Bam, bam, bam! Fist after fist. As the both of them moved, clashing in the center. As Naruto ducked under a strike and swipe, Madara brought his head back as his face was slashed. He brought his foot around and slammed it into Naruto's ribcage. Naruto grabbed onto his leg and twisted him before bringing him down and smashing him through the earth. Fire exploded out of the hole as Naruto jumped away. Madara's Susanoo flared up to life. 4 arms as 4 arms came bearing down as they trampled Naruto. The arms started to raise slightly as Naruto lifted himself up, moving the 4 arms that he held onto with his bare arms. He gripped the Susanoo, literally gripped it, and yanked it forward, pulling Madara along with it as he threw it. He held his hand up in the air as a small, miniature ball was created. It started to crack with unseen lightning, pure white. It then turned into a golden color, a golden bright light that he threw. It smashed into the center of Susanoo, blowing it apart. Madara leaped back out of it as he went through hand sign before he slammed his hands together, wood style, Deep forest emergence, he said. Trees exploded from the ground behind him as they rushed forward in a wide arc. They swallowed the entire area, completely consuming it. Madara stood there. See what I mean, the voice said in his head. As Madara scoffed, ignoring that voice. He watched as a bright light splits a wide arc in the massive wood release. The thing exploded outwards. Several black balls shoot towards him as he twists and dodges. His eyes went wide when they started to crack. Boom! The explosion rocked the entire place. He jumped out of the smoke, one of his arms missing. A feet slammed into his chest. His entire chest cavity caved in. Its arm was grabbed before he could send sailing away. His body was smashed down into the ground, breaking it underneath him. As Naruto flipped him around and brought down his leg, Madara's eyes pulsed as they changed into the Rinnegan. A force slammed into Naruto, launching him backwards in mid-air. Naruto smiled as he stood in mid-air as he slammed his hand together. Volcano eruption. The ground cracked under Madara's feet as he jumped away. The ground shot up in the air in a massive volcano that spewed lava, that swallowed up everything around, incinerating all the meteorite pieces that were left. Madara jumped back as it spewed right on him. Instead of shaking it off, it simply sank through his clothes and burned through his skin. As he landed in a crouch, the entire place was melting. The volcano seemed to be seeping into the earth. As Madara smiled, Naruto landed. I must say, you're a lot stronger than the others, said Naruto. As he smiled, you're a curious one. Seems like you enjoy the feeling of battle just like me, said Madara. But this won't do, said Naruto. Madara blinked as he was grabbed behind the neck. So fast, he thought to himself. So you were holding back this much all this time? You got to when you're someone like me, said Naruto. But don't worry. Madara felt a warm feeling invade his body, confusing him. As his skin started to change. Meanwhile, what is this? What is he doing? Said Kabuto in rage. As he felt his control completely slipped away. Meanwhile, the glow around Madara started to die down. As he stepped away from Naruto, his eyes broke away out of his eyes. Rinnegan no longer there, as he never had them when he was alive. Madara looked at his body, despite having no eyes, as he heard his heart beating. I'm alive? He felt the blood rushing through his veins. Yes, you are. You really are something else, aren't you? I can feel the yin and yang chakra around you. Despite just bringing me back from the dead, it has barely diminished. You truly are a monster, aren't you? Just a monster looking for a good fight, said Naruto. And I would prefer it if you call me a god, he said. Well then, shall we commence our battle, said Madara. After all, a battle is always better with running, flowing blood. No. What? Said Madara. This battle would be pointless. You are not yet strong enough. Your power quite precedes you, I can tell. I can tell that you are holding back in our fight as well. But it's still not enough. As Naruto's hand became silver, it was see-through like a ghost as he pushed it in his own stomach and brought out 3 tiny balls. One of them was bright orange, the other one was blue. The last one was a brown-red color. He tossed them to Madara, who caught them despite not having any eyes. Madara felt them. These are the tail pieces. But how? I condensed them in that form. Those are the last 3 tail pieces that you need to revive the Jubi. Madara narrowed his eyes despite having none. I can feel something inside of you. It's similar to all of the tail beasts combined. What exactly are you? If you pose a good challenge, perhaps I'll tell you. But at the moment, you're nothing but a waste of my time. Such arrogance. I can tell that you truly are a being far above everything else. Even willing to go as far as give me what I need. Even if it means your demise. But you and I are alike in that regard. We always want a good battle to see if we can be pushed to our limits. Am I right? Well, at least we're in the same in that regard, said Naruto. But you're still not strong enough, Madara Uchiha. You know of me then? Yes. But you're far too weak right now. I saw through the eyes of the fox. Your battle with Hoshirama Senju. The scale, the destruction was glorious. Go and rebirth the 10th tail. Come back with that power and face off against me. And then we will have a true battle to see the fate of this world. And how do you know that you'll win? It's not a matter of if, it's when. But it will be a glorious battle, said Naruto. Quite cocky indeed, said Madara. Well then, I suppose we can have our glorious battle. Then I guess this event will have to wait. Yes, it has, said Naruto. Go. You're wasting my time. If you come back weaker, I won't spare a second. I will just slaughter you. Madara chuckled as he walked off. Our battle shall be glorious, he said, as he made his way off, feeling giddy, as he hasn't felt this way in a very, very long time. Now, to find Obito and find the Gedo statue, not to mention his eyes. He needed his eyes. As he made his way off, Naruto paused. You're watching me again. Do you really want to die so soon? Said Naruto as he looked over his shoulder. Jiraiya grabbed onto Konan's arm. Don't do it. You would just be killing yourself. She pulled away from his grip. It doesn't matter, Jiraiya-sensei. I have nothing to live for now. If I can, probably bring him down. Are you serious? Said Jiraiya. That man that he was fighting was Madara Uchiha. And you could see that Naruto, barely, was fighting. I've seen him done some crazy things before, and this wasn't even close to what he can do. If he defeated Nagato, what do you think you can do against him? He did not kill Nagato, she said. Someone else did. We were betrayed. That's another thing. You need to come with me. I need to know what the hell is going on. I'm not so certain myself, but I will tell you what I know. There is still something left for you to do in this world, Konan. Giving up your life in a meaningless fight like this would be a waste. Do you really think Nagato would want that? She lowered her head. Or Yaiko, he said. She did not say anything as Jiraiya simply led her away. As he glanced towards Naruto, who wasn't even paying them attention, he was looking up in the sky. A smile was on his face. Perhaps Madara would prove a challenge to him. Naruto then blinked away out of existence as he grabbed the recording device. It was a miniature box that was hovering in the air. You're watching me. I've seen you before, said Naruto as he looked right at the box, right at the lens. You are not the elemental nations that I'm going up against. You're someone in hiding. Is it you, Otsutsuki? Naruto asked, as he looked through the lens. I will find you, he said. You can't hide forever, as he crushed it in his palm. Meanwhile, Amado saw the screen dazzle in front of him as the feed was cut off. He then turned towards the wall, as inside of the capsule. The large capsule sleeping inside was Delta. Seems I'll have to wake you up sooner than expected, Delta, he said, as he stepped out of the room to inform Ishiki about his new findings. This boy is coming for them, and it's only a matter of time, Amado thought to himself. And in the state that Ishiki was in, he could not face him, well, unless he shed that body of his. But then, his time will be clocking down. But at the rate that he was going, he will find him. And he was going to come here for a fight, not to talk. Depending on recent visual effects of him, The only thing he really cared for was a good battle. After all, he let away Madara Uchiha. Of course, Amado knew who that was. And it seems like another Tail was going to be revived. Perhaps this was a good opportunity for Ishiki. Yes, good indeed, Amado thought to himself. Meanwhile, Madara found himself standing in front of a white Zetsu, waiting patiently. A swirling vortex then came up. As he looked across, "You're alive." "Yes, as you can see, I'm alive." "How did you come back?" "Otsutsuki Naruto. So you met him?" "Yes, indeed, I met him. He's quite a fighter, isn't he?" "He's the brother of a sage of Six Path." Obito blinked at that. "What? You didn't know? What have you been doing this entire time, Obito? Have you been wasting time?" "I have not. Things just got complicated." "Well, if you didn't even know that he was a brother of Sage of Six Path, then you have been wasting time. Where is Nagato?" "Nagato is currently disposed of. But I have what you seek." "But Otsutsuki Naruto has nothing," said Madara, as he held out 3 balls. Obito narrowed his eyes. "Are those the tail beasts?" "Yes. The ones that you haven't gathered yet." "Where did you..." "He gave them to me. He wanted a glorious battle before we do our plan, and I intend to give him one. So, it's time that we commence the plan and bring forth the end of this world, shall we?" said Madara. Obito nodded, but he looked wary at Madara, as he didn't trust him one bit. Knowing him, he'd want to drag everything out into a fight, and if he lost against Naruto, then what was the hell gonna happen after that? Everything would be at loss. That is why he was wary of Madara. He even thought about the threat of Madara killing him, just in case. It's not like he didn't completely trust the man, it was that Madara loved to fight, and he would become the Jinchuriki of the 10 Tails just to fight Naruto. But that is not what Obito wanted. He wanted the plan to go smoothly, and he wanted to create the perfect Tsukuyomi, to put this world in an illusion, in a dream. Meanwhile, the 5 Kages had came to agreement. The Akatsuki was still a threat, but Mito was their best chance. After hearing what completely shocked them to their core, that Naruto was a brother of Sage of Six Path, they still couldn't believe it. But after the things they seen, they couldn't really deny it. But still, that was just surprising. "Well then," said the Raikage, "if everything is over, we should get..." The man paused, as he felt the ear on the back of his neck stood up. Confused, he looked around. The feeling of dread set over him. Suddenly, an explosion went off in the lower section. The man narrowed his eyes towards the wall. Screams could be heard coming from the samurais. As Mifune got to his feet, all the Kages did. Sasuke, Mito, all the guards that they brought with them came out. As they all turned towards the wall where the explosion came from, only to have the entire thing cave in. Smoke filled the room. Everyone got ready. "I see that you all can't read," said a voice. "Haven't you noticed what the moon says? This world belongs to me. So any important meeting that is going on, I must be told. Now tell me, what were you people discussing?" As Mifune eyed twitched when he saw Naruto holding on to the neck of one of his samurais. Mifune moved its blade already extended to save his samurai. It came down in a wide arc towards Naruto's arm, who simply caught the blade. Pathetic. He snapped it. Before moving forward, he grabbed Mifune by the throat, snapping the samurai's arm in his neck as he tossed him to the side. "Don't you know that you should bow?" said Naruto, before he raised his hand, only for a chain to wrap around his wrist and yank him, releasing his grip off Mifune. Sasuke didn't appear behind Naruto in a quick movement. his feet already raised up to drop a heavy blow under the shoulder to knock him out. If they could at least do that, they could capture him. Naruto spun and grabbed Sasuke's leg as he threw Sasuke right into Mito. Sasuke flipped over her head though as he landed behind her. Another chain burst from her palm as it wrapped around her other hand. As she held him tight, the right Kage came in to take off Naruto's head. As Naruto pulled his head back and smashed it against the man's fist. For the strangest sight, the right Kage fingers turned and snapped. Sand wrapped around Naruto, keeping in place as the tissue Kage flew over him as Naruto was trapped in a cylinder. The thing got white and then boom. Everything inside was gone as Mito felt her chains release. Her eyes went wide. They just wanted to capture him. She turned towards the Kage. Finally. It seems we don't need to do this in the first place. We got rid of that brat, he said. As the man had a delighted look on his face, getting revenge for his granddaughter. For someone so old, it seems you have no sense at all, said Naruto. The man turned his head. I told you once before. In the grand scheme of things, you do not matter. Because compared to me, none of you are anything, he said. As he sat down, literally on air, as a root grew from the ground that formed into a comfy chair as he sat down. I did not came here to fight, merely to talk. I was attacked outside by the samurais, so I returned in kindness. They told me I couldn't come up here, despite me informing them that I am the one that rules this world. And who gave you that right, if you ask? Oh, no one. I just took it, said Naruto. And you really think the entire elemental nation are just gonna stand down and let you do something like that? As Naruto sighed hard. Why won't you people understand it? You people mean nothing. You are just mere jokes compared to me in the end of things. If I wanted to, I could siphon all of your chakra away. It's just a simple step, a plan, that I can put in motion. I just need a few things. And I could take every single chakra from this earth. But what will be the point that time? And also, it will be time consuming to do that. So instead I allow you people to go on, using chakra like you own it. But it doesn't belong to you. Seeing that I am linked to the Jobi, this chakra is basically mine. And when I finally find that beast again, and tear it to pieces, shredding it from this very existence, then this chakra will be completely mine. But I'm giving you all a chance to back down. He turned his head. Okage, I warned you. But yet you still oppose me. Let me guess. Because of that old fossil, said Naruto as he looked up towards the screen. As the daimyos looked down at him. Do you think you have the say of what goes on in the world? Just because you have the money. All of you are cowards, you just hide. Just because you have money, you think that you have the say to what goes on. You know? I'm gonna kill all of you, said Naruto. Mito clenched her fists. Stop it, she said. As Naruto turned towards her. Acting like you don't care about anything. Trying to push us in this false sense of giving up. Well, we won't give up. And I won't give up on you, she said. As Naruto sighed. Sasuke, it seems you understand. There's no hope of bringing me back, correct? Mito looked towards Sasuke as Sasuke said nothing. As Mito lowered her head. As Naruto simply scoffed. Well, it doesn't matter in the end. This world is mine. Gather your forces, gather your army. I will take them all on. Perhaps. When all of them is dead, you will finally understand that this could have been avoided if you have simply bowed. I will give you all the opportunity once again. Go on your knees and bow. And I will. Leave your village alone. You will still be under my rule, but no one will be slaughtered. Now, bow. I will never bow to someone like you, said the Kage, no matter what you do. Neither will I, said the Kage. A little ruffian like you think that you have what to say and what to go. Naruto laughed to himself. And you, Kazekage. The world cannot have one tyrant, said Gaara. I won't allow you. Okage. Well, you gave me no choice. I can't allow you to take over the rest of the world. I especially can't allow you to take over Konoha. So the only way I see fit is by stopping you, Naruto. You can still stop this. You have your Otsutsuki Empire. Stop all of this. Rule your nation in peace and stop trying to take over the world. And all of this can be avoided. No, said Naruto. And why? Why are you so desperate on taking over the world, said Mito. Because it belongs to me, said Naruto. And who told you that, said Mifune. No one told me. I told you that before. This world. It was nothing before. It all should have been mine. If it wasn't for my goddamn brother sealing me away, everything would have been mine. All of those years trapped in a box. Wasted. Tormented. Well, I made myself a promise. Once I was free, I would take everything. Absolutely everything. And I intend to make good on that promise. So if you all want to fight me, then go ahead and fight me. But it will solve and change nothing, said Naruto as he looked towards Natty. I see you're with them, so I guess I have nothing more to say to you, other than your people will die, all of you. As he got to his feet, Mito stood in his path. You know, I did you a favor. I eradicated the Akatsuki. So you're safe, said Naruto. You should at least be thanking me. Thanking you? After all you've said and done? I simply told you to move on. I'm not your brother. I was never truly your brother. I was just someone who forgot my past. And the little moments of me being your brother were mere memories. My name is Otsutsuki Naruto, ruler of this planet. And all shall bow and fall. As he simply walked, he paused as she did not move. As he took a breath, Sasuke stood beside her. You're still going along with this, Uchiha, said Naruto. Seems like you people don't understand. What do I have to do to show you that I'm no longer your brother? That I will never change? As Naruto turned towards Natty, before turning towards Gaara, he moved. Sand exploded from Gaara's gourd as it came up in a wide arc, only for Naruto had to pass through it like it was nothing but water. The sand losing all of its chakra as Naruto touched it. Temari and Kankuro quickly spring into action. Temari swing her fan to blow Naruto away. She will apologize to the others later. The wind style slammed into Naruto with so much force, but yet still did not budge his body. Two puppets rushed towards Naruto from either side as a puppet came behind him. As Naruto simply waved both hands, lava spewed from his palms, incinerating the puppets. Gaara found himself completely helpless as Naruto grabbed him by the throat. He couldn't feel his chakra. Naruto slipped around him and held his head. No, don't do this, said Mito. If you still have a piece of good left inside of you, don't do this. Don't hurt Gaara, she said to him. If you still care about me, or anyone else at the village, or Haku, don't do this, she said, tears coming in her eyes. Please, brother, she asked him. That's just it. I don't care anymore, said Naruto. Temari brought her fan down on Naruto's skull, ready to bash it in. But her arm came from Naruto's back. A blast of wind chakra slammed into her stomach, throwing her through the wall. Snap! Naruto break Gaara's neck as his body fell down to the ground. Dead. Everyone's eyes went wide. The tissue Kage, the right Kage, flexed their fingers. But a feeling of dread set over them as Naruto's eyes roamed over the area. They felt fear. Proud man that has fought in wars felt fear. They felt like their bodies just seized up, unable to move. Now do you understand? There is no hope, said Naruto. Just give up on me. With that, he vanished. Tamar picked herself up as she rushed towards her brother, Gaara. Gaara, she screamed! But there was nothing. No life. Absolutely nothing. Snady stood there. She saw his eyes came over her first, like he was going to kill her. But instead he used Gaara as an example. She looked towards Obito as she saw the girl's eyes boiling with rage. Even Sasuke was being affected by it. So they finally saw that Naruto was the enemy. He was a threat that need to be taken care of, or else all of them were doomed. Meanwhile, Ishiki Otsutsuki was by himself. As he got the latest report from Amado, Ishiki had an idea. An idea that might just be perfect if it works out. After all, the boy was half human, but he wasn't so sure if his idea was gonna work. But something that would be greatly beneficial to him, and he can finally get rid of Jigen. As a smile came to his face, after years, he will finally be whole. After all, he chuckled to himself. Why didn't he think of this in the first place? But he still didn't know if something like this would work. But first, he will have to bring Naruto Otsutsuki down. After all, he can't have him in a fighting state while he's doing this. It would never work. So that means you'll have to go up against him. Not to mention with the world turning so quickly. The Jubi. Another one being formed. If this one was filled with all the power of those beasts, it will be 100%. Not like the one that he had, the baby. Smaller. And much weaker in power. The smile on his face was one of happiness, as he really wondered if his plan would work. It would be a fight for mental dominance, and it would just be entail which one of them is stronger. That is why he will have to break Naruto Otsutsuki completely, take away his fight, his reason to fight, to beat him so bad that he doesn't even have the strength to move or to properly think. Yes. He picked himself up as he made his way down the hall. As he stopped in front of a room, he turned towards Amado, who was inside, as a man was on the computer that was linked to the capsule. So, should I? Amado said. Yes, said Ishiki. As Amado pressed a button, psst, smoke came from the capsule as it opened up. As the eyes of Delta opened up. Meanwhile, snow. Nothing but snow as the place was cold. 3 figures were standing. Well, seems we can't find anything here. But the signature was near this place. 3 men were standing there, one of them rather bulky, the other 2 rather slim. These were none other than Momoshiki, King Shiki, and Yorishiki. The power that we sense is connected to the betrayer Kaguya, but it's not her entirely. She must have an offspring, said Yorishiki. So then, should we go find him? He is quite powerful. Yes, I suppose it's time that we do go find him, said Momoshiki. Meanwhile, back at Earth, Kabuto was by himself, at a loss on what to do. He thought that his reanimations would do something good, that he would find a way to do something to finally get revenge. But it seems like it was a waste. He knew that by now the world must be against Naruto Otsutsuki after everything. But how does he fit in this role? What exactly should he do, he wondered to himself. What would Orochimaru do? He shook his head. No. He was his own man now. That was the entire reason why he took on this fate. Why he did all of this. But yet Naruto didn't even care about him. Naruto took him like he was even a threat after all. He did not even come after him. He thought Naruto would come after him after what he did. But the man seemed to have completely forgotten about him like he was nothing. Like he didn't even exist. Like he wasn't even a threat. Well, in cases like these, when there was foes that were too dangerous to keep alive, there was always something. Something that was being cocked up by the rest of the Elemental Nation. The power scaling was off at the moment. The balance of power was shifted towards the Otsutsuki Empire, one man that was able to defeat the entire world. So they will have to join together. He will have to help as well. He had no idea what happened to Madara. His link just cut and he no longer felt his control over the man. Like somehow the man had been torn apart. But at the same time not. It wasn't a normal soul removal because he felt when to remove the soul of the others. But this was not it. That was the weird part. He did not understand. He thought to himself, well, he could help out in the war. Yes, he could. By reanimating someone more powerful than Madara back in his days. Well, Madara had the Rinnegan, but the Kages would surely help. Minato, Hoshirama, Tobirama. Yes, even the third. Yes, indeed, he thought to himself. Well, he will need a sacrifice. He couldn't have his soul be taken by the Shinigami. But he will have to make sure that their reanimation is strong. Even if he might not have full control over them. He just wanted to make sure that Naruto paid for leaving him like he was nothing. Like he wasn't even a threat in the world. Like he wasn't even a problem to be taken care of. It really aggravated Kabuto. He made his way to the lost shrine where he could revive their souls from the Shinigami. But on the way, he needed to get a few sacrifices first, so that his soul wouldn't be taken by the Shinigami. Yes, indeed. With that, he made his way. Meanwhile, as Naruto stood on top of his tower, he could feel it. The feeling of dread. It wasn't like he feared anything at all, but he could feel a sense of power roaming through the air. Something was coming, something dangerous. Something that wasn't even caused by his course of actions. Unknown forces were coming for him. He could tell. He could just feel it as he looked up in the sky. And this other Otsutsuki that was at Earth, he must be one powerful one as well. Judging by the time, he must have come here with his mother. But his mother never spoke of... No, she didn't, right? He would have remembered. She's speaking about another Otsutsuki that came with her. She really did spoke about her past anyway, so it did not matter. But it should be a good challenge. Yes. Uchiha Madara, Otsutsukis, the entire Elemental Nation. Perhaps someone will finally push him. Perhaps someone will make him go all out. Perhaps someone will push him to the brink that he has to bring out his final form. To finally show off what he's made of. To finally show that he's a god. Perhaps it will be fun. More than fun, exciting. Something that will get his blood boiling. Madara was right. The only way to truly have fun was in the depths of battle, knowing that your life was at risk. That was the only way that you could enjoy a battle that was just so wonderful. Something delightful. It brought a beautiful smile to his face. He calmed down for a moment though as he thought about his child on the way. That's the thing, he can't die. He won't let his child grow up without a father. Never. So this battle will be fun. But if it's proven to be a hassle, he will release everything. After all, he's never once shown this world why they should call him a god. He's not even sure if the world could handle it. A battle of that magnitude, if he was to face off against other Otsutsukis and Madara with a 10-tail, if he was to face off against a 10-tail beast that can split the world and drink the seas, could the world even survive that? He would have to make precaution that it does. He couldn't have anything happen to Yujito or the other girls. He has already told Mito and the others to move on if they wanted to fight him. If they want to come at him with everything they got. He warned them countless of times. They were not important, they were not a threat. There was nothing that gave him a threat in the first place, but he wanted a battle that would make his blood boil. But if they keep on being persistent, he will have to take them out. That thought seemed to not shake him so much as before. It was strange. She was once his sister, but no more. He was not. Naruto Uzumaki, that was just a child that knew nothing about his past. His name was Naruto Otsutsuki. You hear that, world? I am Naruto Otsutsuki, he screamed on top of his lungs. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want next part to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, guys, go ahead and check out the other episodes that I posted today and enjoy each and every one of them. But for now, I'm out. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.